Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we have the next presentation, and that is the fastest route from legacy to AI. And this presentation is presented in front of you by Mr. Ravindra Manvi, Director of Products, Nineleaps.
So good afternoon, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Is it audible? Yeah, good. In the morning, somebody was talking about they're not going to sell AI snake oil. So we quickly went to the market and got a different oil to sell, which is AI plus, right? So what's AI plus? This is something that we have built as a framework that over years of experience of working with different clients. It's an idea of being or staying practical while not losing sight of the vision that you would want to achieve. How do we do that? That's what we're going to discuss. We have kept it quite simple. We'll walk you through it, and it's a presentation, and then we can have a discussion post that, right? Quick introductions. Nineleaps is a 11-year-old product AI and data engineering company based out of Bangalore. Have worked with global clients at global scale on various different use cases, and which has led to us building some kind of expertise to present this particular concept to you. I am Ravindra Manvi, Director of Product at Nineleaps. I have worked with NBFC, worked at a bank, so it feels good to be among a familiar crowd. And just let's see how the whole presentation goes from here, right? So you have met me, you have met Nineleaps. Have you met Upstart, right? Upstart, probably some of you are aware of it. It's an AI-driven aggregator platform which helps companies do lending based on non-conventional data sources. So it doesn't really always depend on FICO scores. It takes a lot of parameters into consideration while giving loan underwriting. Based on education background, employment background, there are thousands of parameters that it takes into consideration, right? So how does it work? It does a lot of AI-based decisioning which leads to more approvals and lower defaults, right? So there is some AI use case that we are talking about, and does it have an impact, right? Because there are lots of AI use cases that we keep talking about. A lot of people hear about it, and there is a certain amount of negativity that is also getting developed in terms of does it really work or not. So we have to look at some of the numbers to really know if it really works or not. So the numbers are there to see. For Upstart, it has doubled the number of dispersals that it can do with 40% lower cost of giving the loans, and 90% of the loans get dispersed instantaneously. So if you look at parameters of customer experience in terms of more loans, faster loans, and better experience and lower cost of loans, all parameters, there is a success. So there is some success to be seen in AI. It's not something that, it's only conceptual. So there are people who are like extremely gung-ho about it, and there are people who are extremely pessimistic about it. So the truth is somewhere in between. So that's what we'll talk about. How do we get there? So one slide so that everybody relates to, because there's a lot of talk about Gen AI, a lot of talk about agentic AI. So should we really talk about Gen AI and agentic AI when it comes to AI, or should we talk about something else? That's the real discussion or the real meat of this particular presentation. So it's not to get lost in buzzwords and look at what is the right way to do it. What would some of a typical AI checklist look like? And for most of us, the checklist would be like, do I have a video KYC solution? Do I have a chatbot that can converse with clients? Do I have a document analyzer? Do I have a back statement analyzer? So all these are good AI applications to have, and typical AI checklist, and most of us would have a thumping yes to most of this, right? So does that mean we have achieved AI success? So that's what we have to really look at. And how do we come to something like that, right? How do we come to a checklist like that is probably the starting point of that would have been asking a question like this. Should I build a chatbot? should I have a document KYC? Should I take a ChatGPT version or something like that, right? So where there are some questions being asked which have led to that particular mix of solutions. Are these the right set of questions to ask? That's what we'll look at. So there has to be a better way to go to AI kind of a success. That's what we will understand. That's where AI Plus comes into picture, right? This is the framework that we have built to help clients to take them through a couple of phases. First is to understand the vision. Next is how to achieve that vision, right? It's very simple. Now, based on this, let's look at a different set of questions, right? How do I double the number of loans with reduced TAT? How do I have increased NPS by 15 points? How do I launch my product in the faster way? So these are also set of questions, and there were a different set of questions earlier. What's the fundamental difference? There is a business KPI aligned to each of this, right? So the business KPI is what is making these questions fundamentally different from the rest of the questions, and these are still a large set of questions. So how do we get to the right question among these right set of questions? That's where we start with making a laundry list of all the areas where AI can be implemented. And you don't have to read through the whole slide, it's just a laundry list, right? So again, there is a lot of decisioning to be made as to where do I start. So that's where you decide on what are the factors that will help me get the most impact in terms of solution, and then use those parameters to classify and then prioritize. So here we'll take an example of product diversity and customer segment diversity as a decision-making axis, use them to plot the different areas of AI that we had identified earlier, and look at where do they fall, right? A good slide on typically how you would classify, draw a couple of axes, plot them, and see where there is sense coming out of it, right? Now, when you look at this, there are some processes on the right top corner where there are processes which have very high product diversity and very high customer diversity that can be applied. In short, a higher impact as compared to the rest of the processes. And one among them being customer underwriting, we will see how such a process can be taken through AI Plus kind of a framework to take it to AI success stage. We will walk you through that, and that customer underwriting, when we have arrived at the right process, now we are asking the right question among the right questions, which is, how do I double the number of loans with a 30% reduction in TAT? It's a representative KPI that you are aligning to the right question that you have identified. Now you have a vision. You have something definite to achieve, and now you're looking at how do I do that. That's where the phase 2 of AI Plus comes into picture. So what does it take? Is it really just about knowing what is the path to get there? Most of us are smart enough. A lot of such questions would have been asked, and we would have some idea of how to do that. But there are some constraints in terms of time and budget and all that, right? So how do we work within that constraint? So that's why what we really need is not just a path to get there, it is the fastest path to get there, so that you are not losing track of your time and budget constraints, right? So that's AI Plus maturity framework. We will, whatever business KPI we identified, what is the process that we identified, we will walk that process through this framework so that we know how practically we can achieve some kind of a success. That's where the framework comes into picture. It is divided into 4 stages. Most of us would be at an AI pilot kind of a stage, but the utopia, the real success we want to achieve is at the AI native stage. And that's where Nineleaps comes into picture, which is having a great expertise in enabling and integration and taking them through AI Plus kind of a stage, which will help the clients achieve the success that we are looking for. A typical customer underwriting process would look like this, and I don't have to preach the choir, and every one of you probably already know this process. So I'll quickly go through what are the kind of pilots that we might be running, right? Most of us would be having some kind of a QD kind of, or a data automation from a form kind of a system. We could have a KYC, video KYC kind of a solution. We could have a banking kind of an integration through something like Perfios or Yardley or something like that. So most of these solutions are typically available with everybody. So there is, what's the KPI that's getting achieved is that when you see the TAT is getting reduced at a specific stage of the entire process, but not for the entire process together when you put it together. So there is some bottleneck or the other where there is not real impact that's happening in terms of the KPI. Now let's look at AI enabled. This is where Nineleaps excels in, which is embedding AI into the different stages of the process. Whatever is already AI pilot kind of a stage that is made integration ready, that can talk to other systems so that the data flow is smooth and in a uniform way. And wherever there is no AI that is being implemented, there we come up with solutions as to how AI can be implemented there. But the idea would be to have one smooth flowing system where the systems are talking to each other and it's flowing, it's a completely integrated kind of a situation. What happens with a stage like this is that you would see a TAT being improved at an overall process level and not just a siloed kind of a success, right? But that's still not enough. We have to move from there to an AI plus kind of a stage where the entire orchestration of the process has to happen based on an AI-based decisioning. So what it means is if there is a different product that needs to be introduced or if there is an exception to the process that needs to be introduced, some of those decisions can be taken by an orchestration layer which is AI-driven. So this is where the system will look like one system as a whole, but while it's also catering to different variants of the product, different exceptions in the process, which means not just the TAT improvement that is happening, your ability to introduce new products or any new segment that you want to cater to has improved at this stage. What is happening also at this stage is that there is a significant feedback at a systemic level, which is helping the overall system improve in terms of the different business KPIs. Now let's look at what an AI native stage would look like. This is where most clients would be happy to be, but which is what the vision would be, but where we are currently not there yet. So when in a truly AI native kind of a system, the same set of processes that we saw, or the same legs of the process that we saw, are now not linear anymore. They're all splattered and they're all talking to each other. Now the starting point of a loan process need not be a DSA visiting a customer and then asking, do they need a loan or not? Right? The system can be now listening to the customers and say that, you know what, you are running short of working capital. In the next quarter, you would be needing a working capital loan. And here is the product that I'm recommending based on your banking statement and all of that. So the starting point of the loan is now not a DSA visiting and asking, do you need a loan? It is the system identifying that the customer needs a loan and then starting the loan process. Similarly, it can be that the KYC documentation is being done, and based on the documentation that is being done, the system can identify what is the right product that is applicable for it, instead of whatever the straight-laced approach that we would have taken earlier, right? So there is a KYC document collected, doesn't mean the same product has to apply. Depending on the documentation, the system can analyze and tell that there is a different product that is more suited. So again, the loan journey is not starting at DSA visit, it's starting at the KYC validation kind of a stage. So all these different stages can be themselves a starting point in the loan journey. That means these systems have to be not just intelligent themselves, they need to be talking to each other and be an intelligent system on the whole. That's the AI native stage we would want to take our clients to, and we have built the AI plus and AI enabled stage which came before this as a way to get there in the fastest possible way. Now, when we do all of this, while we are running short of time, I just want to talk about a few organizational wrappers that we cannot ignore while doing an AI implementation, which is ensuring that there is quality of data, which means that enhancing your data infrastructure. Regulatory readiness, of course, has to be the overall boundary within which this whole system needs to be implemented. And AI testing frameworks. This is something that we cannot emphasize more of, right? Which is today, because of Gen AI and agentic AI and all this kind of rapid advancements that are happening, testing for a solution is not anymore a straightforward process. The applications and systems are not deterministic. They have become probabilistic in nature. So every customer, every user will see a different set of outputs based on the different context that is applicable, which means when your testing framework has to have a statistical approach to it, knowing that what is the 80% of the users that are going to see, what is the confidence interval within which I can say that certain output is going to be given the right way or not. So it's a very different kind of a framework that you have to apply from whatever has been a traditional digital transformation kind of a project. Of course, the overall thing has to be driven by people. It's not a replacement of people that we are talking about. It is enhancement of people's expertise. It is enhancement of people's productivity by giving them space and time to get more creative, which means talent and culture also has to be aligned that way, which is not necessarily, which is a co-creation kind of an area with Nineleaps and the clients. Now, just to summarize the whole thing, where we start with the process classification, identify a business KPI, align the whole process to that business KPI, which is what we call it as pilot with purpose. So don't just take up a pilot and start implementing it. Pilot has to be with a purpose, which has to be an alignment to a business KPI. And before moving into any scalability, investing in data and governance is something that we have to be really investing on. So that's our approach about AI Plus, and we have a booth here, and we'll be happy to have any conversation around this. Yeah. And we have a more detailed deck available on the QR code. If anybody is interested, they can download. There is some more data backing up and all that. Yeah. Thank you. That's my time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir Ravindra, I'll just request you to be here on the stage for 2 minutes. And I would request Mr. 𝐕𝐺𝐝 𝐍𝐁𝐅𝐂, Chief Technology Officer, New Growth, to please come forward on the dais to felicitate Shri Ravindra ji. दोस्तों एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाएं.